Hello and welcome to episode 2 of Nazi Zombies in Depth. Today we're going to be going over pistols. This is regular pistols and not the Raygun or the Winter's Howl. We're going to be going over the M1911, Python, CZ75, and dual CZ75s and their upgraded equivalents Mustang and Sally, Cobra, Calamity, and Jane. The footage you're looking at right now is from Big Al 4242. Please tell him thank you for sending it in for the intro. And just a quick heads up, I'm not filming this personally. I'm editing, voicing, and all this other sort of stuff, but the majority of the footage is coming from a professional Zombies player. He's the one that's been scrounging through the box to provide me with the absolute best clips for this series, so please go to his channel and tell him thank you. The first pistol we're going over today is the very first one you get in the game, the M1911. This is the lowest damage weapon that I know of in Zombies at 20 damage per shot. It shoots at 625 RPM and takes 1.1 seconds to reload. It does, however, have a really nice headshot multiplier of 3.5x. The only and main reason to keep this gun is because you get 100 extra points with every kill with M1911. Yes, that's right. Every time you get a kill with the M1911, it's worth 100 extra points. But the upgraded version of this gun is absolutely amazing, and that's what we're going to be moving on to next. Mustang and Sally is a really awesome weapon. It's dual wielded and does 1000 damage per shot. If you shoot them in the head, you get a 4x multiplier, or a neck shot is a 5x multiplier for some reason. You get a few less bullets in the clip, but what you're going to be doing most here is dealing splash damage, because these grenades explode. In the very center of your blast radius, you're going to be dealing 1200 damage, and it's going to drop all the way off to 75 at the edge of the radius. The radius is not very big at 5 meters, so what you're going to see is very high damage near the middle to the center of the radius and relatively no damage at the edges. This can be a very powerful weapon early on if you don't buy a bunch of stuff and you save for an early upgrade. Next up, we have the surprisingly powerful Python. This weapon does 1000 to 300 damage even without being upgraded, but the drop range is pretty close because it's a very close range weapon, and after only a few feet you're going to start dropping off in damage. It has 6 rounds in the chamber, reloads fairly slow, and shoots at 625 RPM. When you upgrade it, it turns into the Cobra. The Cobra's maximum damage is the same at 1000, but the minimum is now capped at 600. It has the exact same drop range, but it now has a 12-round magazine and reloads a little bit slower. When you upgrade to the Cobra, you get really nice 3x hit multipliers on the head and neck. The Cobra is not a bad secondary weapon, and in close range it outperforms all the sniper rifles. One neat little fact about the Python and Cobra that's kind of unique for the pistols is that every single body part has a fairly high multiplier, so pretty much wherever you shoot you're going to be doing greater than the 1000 damage. Next up we have the CZ75. It does 150 to 100 damage, it has a 3.5 multiplier on the head and a 3.5 multiplier on the neck. It reloads in 1.63 seconds and is one of the weaker pistols in this game, to tell you the truth. Actually, it is statistically the weakest pistol in the game, so I'd highly recommend that you avoid this one. When you upgrade it, it turns into the Calamity, which has the full auto attachment and does 300 to 200 damage over the exact same range. Your magazine size also increases to 200 when reloaded, but your fire time drops to 535 RPM. There is also an option of getting this weapon dual wielded. This is somewhat better because it more or less doubles your firepower. The damage and upgrades are all the same. Non-upgraded dual CZ75 still do 150 to 100, and Calamity and Jane, you're adding Jane to the Calamity, does 300 to 200 per shot, but you're essentially doubling your fire rate. So the stated fire rate of 535 RPM becomes 1070 RPM, which isn't bad, but you can't really aim down sights, so you're limited on accuracy. The hip spread isn't bad, but it's manageable. Even when dual wielded, these really aren't the best weapons. I would recommend that you use the other pistols instead of these. Well, that's it for this episode of Nazi Zombies in Depth. I hope you learned something useful that will make you a better Zombies player and hopefully last to higher rounds. The next episode is going to be covering shotguns, and it's going to be a little bit longer because we have a lot more and a lot more variety to cover. Be sure to tell Mr. Squarewave thank you, and I will see you later.